Why does violence take place with the senior citizens at home? I think you have to learn this from the Indian rural segment. Our senior population is 70% in rural areas, and they live longer than people who are in the urban areas. Why do they live longer? Because they always contribute something to the house through the village, I mean, to the farm or something they continue to do, and they contribute to the household economy. But God forbid something happens to that man or that lady, and she is alone, and then he's got some physical ailments or some other ailments. Then the chances of domestic abuse increases because your capacity to bring in some additional money, instead of bringing in money to the family kitty, you are now making them to spend when the wants of their own children and their aspiration levels have increased. And then you find abuse takes place, and that takes place very, very seriously. But domestic abuse, if it should not happen, there are ways and means of doing it. Today, I think the government of India is also thinking of reskilling. Whatever be your age, your status in life, whether you are a farmer or whether you are been a general manager of a big company, you have to reskill yourself to contribute to the economy. The reskilling process has to start at 55 in case your retirement age is 60. It should have been reviewed at 65, because many of us, if it is 55, if we do it, we are reskilling to be retired and be employed and doing something productively when we are 60. At 65, again, we may have to reskill because of physical conditions can deteriorate a little bit, or memory conditions. Again, you reskill into something else so that you can continue to do something maybe in your house itself. There's so many ways of earning some money. Then you don't become a liability. Again, you do reskilling at 75 if you're lived up to 75, because your this thing will start reducing. Your body will not be able to move like the way you wanted it to move and do things that you would like to do. But yet you can still do. What is wrong if somebody is 90 and he is doing flower arrangements for somebody in the colony? I read that lovely book, and there people come and leave the flowers, and he arranges the flowers, and evening they come and take those bouquet and give it to the boyfriend or wife or girl or a girlfriend or the husband, and that guy is earning some money. So this killing becomes very important across the society. The government of India also is thinking about reskilling, and reskilling avenues to be there so that we can reskill according to our interest, what we can do. If you ask me to reskill myself as a barber, I'll be a failure. Perhaps I'll be the worst gardener which has ever mowed your head. But definitely, if you ask me to write, where I do have a passion for it, perhaps I can write. I can write different things. I can submit it to somewhere else. I get technologically, I become a bit more savvy so that I can communicate. I can become mentor to some people in the same line. I may earn some money. That keeps me going. At the same time, my brain is always working. The moment you become incapacitated, you are not, you become a liability to the family.
Oh,
Physical, verbal, and mental abuse starts. This is right across the spectrum everywhere, and most of it is because of sheer frustration. That's all I got to say. In case you don't want any physical abuse, reskill, keep yourself occupied, and be happy as long as you can be. We have become a nuclear family, and today, even though I have developed so many properties, I still look after people. One of the biggest curse that we have is this estate that we leave behind, and there is a fight for that estate even before that man is dead. And if you, God forbid, that Raymond's gentleman who gave it everything to his son, and today he is fighting court cases and he's nowhere. So today, many of these things happen because of the greed, because of expecting more, And if you have more than one child, the in the other child not wanting to take care of the parents. I've seen some of them like that. Only one son or one daughter takes
Hmm.
care. The other one will simply not chip in, and they say we don't want anything from him either. You care for him. Now the way of looking at it is that such people, if their own family is not willing to take care of them, and if they have planned their wealth and oblique their estate correctly, and today there are corporate people who can create a trust for you during your lifetime to be taken care of in such situations, I think at the end of the day, the best death that you can ever get is what is it that you have to die amongst your people who love you a bit. And we call that as the end of life or palliative care. Palliative care is nothing but no injections, no morphine, nothing can take care of you. Just that much of love and affection you have to show, and that need not be inside an ICU, so that there you just go there and you're out. That's the worst way of leaving this world. But I do agree with you that for each and every one, the values may be different. What the values the parents gave to the children, it has been ruined by the society in which they live. The greed becomes a sort of a vitamin to continuously ask for more, and in the bargain, if I can get rid of this old man, and perhaps he has not signed his, I mean, he has said everything in his will to be only given to my two children who are, equitably, and the one of you only taking care of him. The other one says, okay, I'm on, in any case, I'm going to get, let this old man give, let the other brother or sister take care of him. So when such a thing comes in and emotionally children can get detached, always they say, in life, what is the Vedanta? They say, I am not. How do you detach from attachment? That itself is a very big subject, and most of us cannot get detached from that attachment. How can I remain detached and yet be attached is the question that I always ask. The fact that gratitude you should never expect. That's what they say. A simple thank you is gratitude. You do it mechanically, and when you do it with your heart, it's different. So I don't have a single answer to that question that you asked as to why they behave like that. All what we have to do is, if you know somebody, I think perhaps the society should give them counseling to say that I think you should not do this. But tragically, in this nuclear families that we live inside our apartments, we get inside and we shut the door. We don't even know who is outside, who is your neighbor, and there's no life with anybody else. I think these things will happen and continue to happen worse in the coming days, especially in a country where we are going to have the youngest number of people living at 65% by 2040, and we have about 18 to 19% of the senior citizens across the board, and a very few percentage in between. And the TFR rate is falling down, and today the children are not born, you don't get married, you live in partnership, and thereafter you get married, you have agreement marriages where you don't want a child, and leave alone two, I'm talking about one also, and we are all accepting it, and we are saying, that is how life has to go on. And then why do you expect something towards your end of life? Can you get detached? Like the way if your son and daughter-in-law or your daughter and the husband or somebody else can get detached from you, why are you showing that attachment?